Welcome back to episode 3. I've just finished running a belt down for our copper, and I've just set up the copper mines in the same way that we set up the iron, just further down. And now we just need to set up the coal again and inserting into this side of things. So again, let's actually just make a splitter for the coal. We're on the wrong side, but it shouldn't actually matter. Yeah, I'll be a perfectionist later, don't worry. And what we probably can do is just switch the side, which will make it look marginally better, just by removing this side and placing it on this side instead. So it'll come in here. Let's just send it this way. Something like that. Now we have our underground belt taking it over. And I think that looks pretty good. More splitters. Now we need to start putting the belt down, so we need a lot more belt. A lot more belt. So let's put the splitter there, and this pipette blueprint is going to annoy me perpetually. There we go. And we just choose to send one way and one the other. And that should be sorted. Add a belt again. But not out of furnaces, which is quite good. I don't want to have to keep running down there for stone. Whoops. And now we're just going to need power poles and inserters. And later in the game, we'll actually get construction robots, excuse me, which will let actually, whenever we place things down in ghost mode like that, it will essentially build it all for us without us having to do anything. But for now, I am actually still going to have to place things down. However, I can feed in the copper now. There we go. It's quite symmetric. That worked quite well, I think. I will have to move these later. I did research electronics, and that happened so fast. It happened just within the couple of minutes between the episodes that I was actually recording. So, yeah, that's done. And two of you. Last few of these should be building now. We just need that final power pole. Okay, and the same thing now, we want to make sure we are sending our copper out. And we'd probably want to feed the copper into those as well. I still have enough to make sure that happens. That's probably why I not into those, into these. I should make sure that I am just temporarily again feeding these properly, which means wooden boxes. Yeah, I don't need to worry too much about where I put them. And the electric pole though, there we go. And then what we can just do is put 101 and the rest in the other box. And they should keep feeding these automatically whenever they need copper plate. Why aren't you working? Oh, these just aren't fast enough for it yet. Which is handy because the thing we're currently researching is Automation 2, which gives us Assembling Machine 2, which is faster than Assembling Machine 1. I think it's double the speed. Well, we'll see. Our crafting speed 0.75. Okay, it's not double the speed. Are you going to be complete? can make assembly machine 2s in our inventory as well, but we're going to need a lot of these products. So having the ability to just grab all these gear wheels will help very shortly. I don't think there's anything else to build until that happens, which should happen any time now. How much iron plate are we building up? Quite a lot. I think I'll take all of you. There we go. So now we've got a choice of probably steel is a good idea. Architecture 1, that's Factorissimo. And I don't need to do that just yet. Logistics 2, we've not got green science packs yet. Again, all green science these, so really sticky notes is just part of a modded thing. We don't need logistics trash slots yet, so it's going to be steel. Which will get us a steel axe, which will cut things down much faster, among other things. Now we should be able to craft assembly machine 2 with assembly machines 1s and some other stuff, including copper, which I'm out of again. Let's head down there, shall we? Hoping you're liking the series so far. It is a bit more tranquil until the biters start coming in. Then it's less tranquil, but we'll persevere. Let's grab this. Make sure you're all fed, and run along belts for a speed boost. How's our power doing? Okay. We should probably be putting more of these down soon. It's fine for now, but yeah, as soon as I start expanding, that's going to quickly get used. Okay, so let's just make a few assembly machine 2s. This will speed up the red pack production. And in fact, I'll probably get rid of one of these, to be honest, but let's just make speed up the red pack production. Make 2 of them. What we all should be making fairly soon is coil. Is it coil? Copper cable. It's a coil of cable, either way. And electronic circuits. Circuits are one of the more important things to get building by assembly machines rather than from your inventory. So we should probably be doing that. That needs 1 iron and 3 copper cable. So we can build it between these lines, but usually it's better to actually not to extend these outwards and then do some kind of bus arrangement. We also want to make transport belts, which is actually probably easier to get done first. We just need iron gear wheels and iron plates, and because we've got iron gear wheels here, we can combine the two, I think. Let's just get rid of all you. And do I have a assembly machine 1? Let's just make 1. I'll tell you very much, and we're going to put that box back down. Yeah, let's put you down, not where I'm stood, close enough, and actually let's just upgrade these. You can just drop these on top of the originals and they will upgrade in place. They should be much faster now. So we actually want 2 inputs to this and 1 output, so let's just grab the box, and for now we'll just put the box down there. Move the inserters across and pull them in from the belt. We now want to set that to make belts. There you are. And it's working. It's going to make belt and we'll automatically put it in this box for us, which we can grab for wherever we want. Again, you may need a better setup than this, but it gets us going. Now, we also want to make circuits, don't we? So which means we need copper cable, and if I remember, it's going to be alright, okay, next research that's gonna need green packs. Let's just take the heavy armor. remember rightly, we need like around roughly a 3 to 2 setup. So I'm going to just extend these belts out quite a bit more, which should be fine because we keep picking these up now. And I almost want to... No, we can just extend the belt, that's fine. We just have to be careful where we're going, because if I extend this iron line outward, I need to make sure there's enough space here to backfill anything that we actually do with this belt now. And again, this is still very, very early game. Things get a lot more complicated than this quite quickly. So what we can do is we can start creating a main bus from this, I think. Yeah, which means we want to just get this laid out correctly. So a main bus, if you're not aware, just means that we can lay out the output of particularly the iron and copper in such a way that we'll end up with multiple belts full. When that happens, we can then start pulling off just one belt full later. To do that, you need to make sure that you have at least 2 space between every set of main bus, which is like 4 in this case, or you can do 2, but also make sure you leave 2 space because the underground belts are a bit of an issue. In fact, I may even leave more space here, so yeah, having them here wouldn't be too bad. Having a full 4 space there is just fine by me. And we can, because there'll be more things feeding in from over here, these belts will get filled. I'll just reroute things later. So let's get started then. We're going to need to make circuits. To do that, I'm going to build down, and we are going to need to make some assembling machines. I want to say, well, I would do 10 to start with, but I'll just demonstrate it with 5. Yeah, assuming I remember how to do this, we'll find out very shortly. Let's grab more of that belt. And just waiting for that to tick down. Okay, so we're going to want to pull copper off this somewhere. Let's say it's here. I'm going to pull the copper in to a few machines, which will, in fact, that's a bit too high. We want to make sure you leave space away from the main bus. And I'm going to set you to copper cable. And then I think we need room to go something like this. And on this side, I want to say something like this. So then we can make the circuits. The circuits will need copper cable, but they'll also need iron. That's no problem. Let's just put a power pole up. That'll reach all of you. Again, here is where you want to make sure you've got enough space. Power poles. I normally run the power poles right down the middle. Like that. That'll do. Then we'll run our inserters on this side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we probably, let's just start with the splitter. We can, the splitter will halve a belt basically, so just be aware of that. You aren't getting the full belt when you use a splitter like this. It's no real problem. Just as long as you keep it in mind, and then, you know, our copper will be coming this way. We are going to output on the other side, but we're going to need to get an input of iron. A few ways to get it. I think the way that I normally do this is if I output something like this. I can input like that as well if I wanted to. Actually, yeah, let's input this way. What's next? Bullet damage, that'll be fine. We're going to need underground belt, and we can do something along the lines of this. These won't join up, and the inserters can output onto this belt and to this belt easily. And then all we have to do is make sure the iron comes in this way. Yeah, however we do that is fine. Not a fan, because the iron will get depleted as it runs down here quite fast. The other way is just running iron down this way and then outputting. To be honest, I think I like that idea better. So we can just switch this very easily. We just change it so that these are inputting and not outputting. We'll bring the iron down that way, and then we'll just send the output this way. And that will make it a little bit neater, because we can just do this. Or we can bring the electronic circuits back the other way, which is probably the better way to do it. Now, bear in mind, this will mean that only half this belt gets filled, because they'll... let me just put these other inserters down. And in fact, if I just power this up, you'll be able to see why and what's going on once we feed in some iron. That should now work. We just need iron brought across, and for argument's sake, I'm going to ignore the bus for the moment just to feed this and get it started. So let's just say you. The iron's going to come down here, get picked up by this inserter and this inserter, put in here, it'll get processed. These will then put their product onto this line, which will head back up this way. And I need more and more power. There we go. And they're going to build up on this line, which of course we're going to take somewhere else, going this way probably. And what I would probably do is just have them... Am I out of fine axe? No, it's just taking that long. Again, respecting that I'm going to need 2 room and 2 spaces in between. So the next belt will be about here. And if you like to do this a little bit more evenly, you could do something as simple as, I don't know, putting a loop back using underground belt, like this, and then feeding it back on itself. That'd work just fine. There's a few other ways of doing this. What you could do is just put a red-handed inserter there, and that will insert onto the other side of the belt. There's a bunch of different ways of doing it. However makes most visually appealing for you is entirely what you should be doing. Because after all, part of the thing in this particular game is getting everything looking exactly as you want it to look, not necessarily how other people want it to look. Are you orphaned? Is that why you're complaining? Where's the belt gone? Are you going through? Yeah, you are. That's fine. Just imagining things. And then we can just put our belts back. Like this. And the same thing over here, to be honest. The only difference is going to be that I'll put splitters in somewhere to pull from this lower line like this, rather than the top line. And well, let's just do that now temporarily. this isn't the best way of doing it, because the splitter is going to basically take this belt, split it into, it's going to be split into 4, which isn't great, because then each one of these is only basically a quarter of the output, and then a quarter of the output's going this way, and these are going to hoover up iron like crazy. So we will amend this later, but it's fine for now. We can just fill up these belts just for aesthetic reasons than anything else. That's going to split it into 2. Yeah, technically I should feed this actually into here. It's going to have a bit of a dog leg, which is make me hate myself, but that's fine. Okay, so that is pretty much that setup. Was belts. Let's just make sure this actually is working. Yeah, it is. And now we've got 3 running this way. We can then rebalance things, but because it's producing so little iron at the moment, I'm not going to worry about balancing things or explaining that just yet. Don't worry about it. So this episode we've got electronic circuits going. Next episode I think we're going to move this setup. Ooh, lots of belts. 400. That's really good. We're going to want to make probably a machine to make assembling machines, and maybe assembling machines too. And I think that then it'll depend. Well, no, we're going to have to move on to steel. Steel takes an awful lot of iron, which means I'll need to reproduce this setup, cover this with iron, which will then have problems for our power. How are we doing on power? Okay, fine. Yeah, so all we need to do then is just to reproduce this setup. Again, I can grab a blueprint, new blueprint, and let's say, what is this tileable? Probably is, you know. Or it should be close to, if not. We can change that to say, yeah, electronic circuits. And then we can put it here. It's not quite tileable, but it's close. And if we had construction bots, I wouldn't need to worry about this point. Again, I can now put that in my book. Let's open the book, put the blueprint in there. Then we can just pick the book up, and again, I can now shift and scroll wheel between them, which is great. So the only thing that you're missing with these whoops is that, and whoops, I've overwritten one. Never mind. But yeah, you get the idea. And I'll just do that bit off camera. Hope you like this episode. Episode 3 has just been about producing electronic circuits, getting everything set up for the main bus, which we're going to carry on with. Feel free to like and subscribe and share, of course, and we'll see you next episode.